Current predictions indicate that more than 1 million people are likely to be dead from Ebola by January 2015. These are far worse than the 13,500 dead that WHO had estimated only a month earlier. The public health system in the three most affected states, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea, are near collapse. The number of patients are doubling every 2 to 4 weeks in Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, showing clearly that it is still a rapidly expanding epidemic. The cases reported are also grossly underestimated. The actual numbers are at least 2 to 3 times higher. If action is taken immediately, then the figures of those infected would reach a high of about 3,500 cases per day, start dropping by December, and be nearly zero by end January next year. If we delay the intervention by just a month, the figures would rise to 10,000 per day. And with a delay by 2 months, it would rise to about 26,000 per day and continue to rise exponentially for quite some time thereafter. With 70% mortality, we're looking at nearly 20,000 dead per day from Ebola by January 2015. It is not that Ebola itself has undergone any change. It is the response to Ebola that has failed. It took more than 2 months to identify the disease itself, and then another 5 months before WHO in August 8, 2014 declared it is a public health emergency of international concern. Ebola has no cure or vaccines. What we have are very limited stocks of experimental ones that cannot control the disease once it is in epidemic mode. The world is paying for not developing vaccines and medicines for Ebola. Despite the lack of vaccines, Ebola is not difficult to control, as it infects only through contact with bodily secretions. Measures such as isolating the patients in Ebola treatment units with adequately equipped health personnel, controlling the burial of the dead, can break the back of the epidemic. Why did the 25th occurrence of Ebola then generate such a disaster? The 3 countries affected have been destroyed earlier by colonial loot and then the civil wars that were instigated by global capital to secure their rich mineral wealth. While Charles Taylor, the then president of Liberia, was convicted of war crimes for trading in blood diamonds or conflict diamonds, De Beers, the global diamond monopoly, emerged completely unscathed for the same crime. The second is WHO, whose budget for emergency response has been cut by more than 50% in the last year alone. Moreover, 80% of the existing WHO budget is for donor-designated programs and cannot be used for fighting Ebola or any other epidemic. The US President Barack Obama has declared war on Ebola in the same way that the US is waging war against so-called terrorists.
At the request of the Liberian government, we're going to establish a military command center in Liberia to support civilian efforts across the region, similar to our response after the Haiti earthquake. It's going to be commanded by Major General Darrell Williams, a commander of our armed Army forces in Africa. He just arrived today and is now on the ground in Liberia. And our forces are going to bring their expertise in command and control, in logistics, in engineering. And our Department of Defense is better at that. Our armed services is better at that than any organization on earth.
The health workers on the ground have been fighting day and night to stop the spread of the Ebola virus, and they have had specific requests for support on the ground in terms of medical equipment and health workers coming on the ground. But when you see the response that whenever you need health workers, you are getting military, you ask yourself, why are we getting military?
In contrast, Cubans are sending 165 health workers to Sierra Leone. The time is running out in the world. If we do not take immediate action, worse may follow, not only in West Africa, but in other parts of the world as well.